Next one, we move on to the consequences of macro problems. Okay, consequences of macro problems. When you talk about consequences, we are referring to things that are memorized. Okay, I want to share a little bit more here. The thing about causes, right? A lot of the rigor. When you say rigor, let's say this word rigor doesn't resonate with you. You're wondering, what exactly is rigor? Well, rigor refers to analysis. Okay, a lot of the rigor, a lot of the analysis relates to your ADAS analysis. Okay, so when I say it relates to AD and AS analysis, there are two big parts. Okay, the first one, we are looking at factors. Okay, how you explain your AD and AS factors. You would remember things like, oh, if there's a change in interest rates, you must link to the cost of borrowing to buy big ticket items. Okay, before you can say something happens to consumption. Okay, so rigor in terms of keywords when you explain factors. Okay, or if there's a change in taxes, we usually say post-tax profitability or post-tax profits. Then you can say what happens to I, correct? So this is all memorized in my notes. Okay, in the console notes, you will see a chapter. It's called Rigor in Explaining AD Factors. Okay, if you memorize this part well, it will serve you very well. Okay, for not just macro aims and issues, but even for the topic on national income, it's going to serve you very well. Okay, so I think let's work on this portion. Okay, factors. Well, rigor refers to one more thing. Okay, other than rigor in explaining your factors, we need rigor in explaining your diagrams. Okay, ADAS diagrams, of course, we are referring to the shifts. Okay, when you have a change in AD, okay, if you want to explain demand pull inflation, you will need keywords like supply bottlenecks. Or some of you say near full employment, also okay. Okay, supply bottlenecks, and then you will say there's greater competition for limited FOP. For limited FOP, yada, 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 then there's a change in the cost of production. Okay, so a change in AD, okay, hence causing demand pull inflation. Okay, so as I do this, you might just want to just do a quick check, okay, internally. Oh, have I memorized these things? Because these are memory work. Okay, then if there is a change in SRAS, we will say, well, there's a change in cost of production. Profit-driven producers, okay, profit-driven producers, they will change output, okay, then you will cause a surplus or a shortage, okay, and that again leads to your change in general price level. Okay, this is another chapter in my notes. It's also called rigor in explaining ADAS factors. Okay. Okay, so with all these things in place, you should know that whenever a question asks for causes, this is what we are looking at. Okay, so the question will probably look like this. Explain the main causes of a certain macro problem, okay, in the economy. Then you have to check the extract. From the extract, you have to pick out the correct factor and you have to link it to the impact on the economy. That's it. Okay. Explain the main causes of something happening in the economy. All right. Well, consequences is a different kettle of fish altogether. When you're looking at consequences, we don't do so much ADAS analysis. Okay, not so much AD and AS analysis, but consequences is more memory work. Okay, the rigor relates to memorized points. Okay, memorized points. Like if I ask you to explain why governments are concerned with a recession, off your head, are there any points you remember that relates to the consequences of inflation? In other words, why inflation is bad. Do you remember any points? Okay. Consequences of a recession. When I say these are memorized, they are really not spontaneously generated. Okay, you have them somewhere in your head already. Anyone? Okay, I give you a while to type it out in case you are trying to share with me what you have. Why governments are concerned with recession? Hmm. Okay. One of you highlighted, okay, a point on unemployment. Okay. Any more? Unemployment. Do you all recall seeing a section on this in your notes? Each of you can try to give me one. Okay. Why concerned with recession? One of you highlighted foreign actual growth. Another one said for in investments. How about the last student? Any views on why governments are concerned with a recession? Why is a recession bad? You see, when I pose this question, more or less, you can see it as, okay, yeah, one of you said a fall in SRAS, okay? More or less, I already have a list, okay, of points in my head, which I feel a bit more legit. Out of the 4 points, this is the one that is probably more likely to be accepted. Okay, why? When we say why are you concerned with recession, we are talking about the implications of recession. And if you say unemployment, I will say it's not entirely wrong, but usually we link this point up to say, hence, there's going to be worsening material standards. Okay, this will be a valid point. But why not unemployment? Because whatever caused a recession simultaneously causes unemployment. So we are not really talking about the implications of a recession. Okay, I'll say that again. Okay, if we talk about implications, it is more of now that a recession has happened, why is it bad? Okay, now that a recession has happened, why is it bad? But if we say, oh, because it causes unemployment, actually it is more of something has caused unemployment and recession together. Okay, so it's not that because of the recession you have unemployment. We call this a spurious relationship. Okay, SPURIOUS. You don't need to highlight that. Okay. So I think if you say recession, which happens together with unemployment, people have less income, lower material standards. This is the implication. This is okay. Okay. So again, actual growth, it's actually basically describing what is a recession, and that may not be our concern. Okay. Likewise, if you say a fall in SRAS, is explaining why there's a fall in real GDP. So these two feel more like causes rather than consequences. Consequences, why they are concerned, okay? I thought raising it because this is one thing where cannot lie lah. Okay, if we remember, you can write it very fast. Okay, so you could say a fall in investments. Why? Because during a recession, expected returns are going to be lower. If your economy is not doing well, investors are not expecting to make much money. So they rather invest elsewhere. Okay. So there's going to be a fall in investments. There's going to be a fall in material standards of living. Okay. One more point you can highlight is worsening of government budget. Okay. Worsening of government budget. Because when there's a recession, lower income means lower income tax collected. Oh, the government collects less income tax. At the same time, when there's lower income, that means there's more welfare paid out. So higher G, lower T, the government's budget worsens. So the government may end up having less money to do